Chapter 4 Old Friends, New Friends. Ollie, Truman, and I had great fun together. We loved to go on walks and play fetch. The three of us made a good team. I started to wonder if my family could be Truman's forever home. One day, my best friend Hannah came over. She liked Ollie a lot, but she was nervous to meet Truman. Don't worry, he is one terrific dog, I said to her. Hannah and I went to my room. Yip, yip, yip. Ollie loved Hannah. He wiggled and squirmed like a puppy in her lap. I ran to my parents' room and got Truman from his crate. He barked and licked my face. Woof, woof. Before I could stop him, he ran down the hall toward my room. Truman, wait for me, I laughed. When Truman got to my room, he stopped in the doorway. He saw Hannah sitting on my bed. He did not go in. I walked past him and sat next to Hannah and Ollie. Truman stood and looked at us for a long time. He wagged his tail, but stayed in the hallway. It's okay, Truman, I said. This is Hannah. She's my best friend. Truman sat down. Look, Ollie loves Hannah, I said. Ollie wagged his tail and licked Hannah's face. Truman slowly stepped into my room. He crept to my side and stuck close to my leg, away from Hannah. He kept watching her. He can be shy with new people, I said. It takes a little time for him to feel safe. I remembered when Truman first met my family. Truman, I want to be your friend, Hannah said. Do you want to be mine? She held out her hand, palm up. She stayed very still. Truman carefully leaned across me. He sniffed her hand. Hannah smiled. Truman thumped his tail. Good boy, she said. Woof, woof. Truman licked Hannah's hand. She giggled. Truman, you are a terrific dog, she said. I told you, I said. I was so glad all four of us were friends now. We grabbed some toys and went to the backyard to play. Katya, you really like Truman, don't you? Hannah asked. I do, I said. He's the perfect fit for my family. Hannah smiled, but she looked a little sad too. Too bad he can't stay here forever. It's going to be hard to say goodbye. I didn't want to think about that. Dad made my favorite dinner that night, hamburgers with French fries, and hamburgers with fried eggs. Right after we sat down at the table, Mom said, guess what? What? I asked. Joss called me today. She might have a family for Truman, she said with a smile. That's great, Dad said. I looked down at the floor. On one side of my chair was Ollie. On the other side was Truman. What would it be like when Truman wasn't here anymore? I felt a tug in my heart and a lump in my throat. So, what happens next? I asked. I leaned down and patted Truman's head. I rubbed his ears. There we go. Joss will make sure the family is good for Truman, Mom said. After that, the family will call me or your dad. They'll ask us questions about Truman and we'll tell them everything about him. If they think he sounds like the right dog for them, they will come to our house to meet him. Be sure to tell them he needs to be crated, I said. Tell them he eats things that are not food, like trash and blankets. And remember what he did to your book bag and Dad's shoe. Remember the mess in my room? Yes, we will tell them the truth about Truman, Dad said. We want Truman to find his forever home. Be sure to tell them he doesn't like baths. Tell them he is shy with new people, I said. Mom put down her hamburger and looked at me. We will also be sure to tell him all the terrific things about him, too. He loves other dogs. He knows how to sit, come, stay, and lie down. He plays fetch. He is very loving. Are you sad about Truman leaving, Katya? Dad asked. I didn't feel like eating anymore, even if it was my favorite dinner. I looked down at my plate and nodded. Honey, we talked about this, remember? Mom said. I know, I said. Truman's just so... By fostering, we are helping a lot of animals instead of just one or two that we would one or two that we would be able to adopt, Mom continued. Dad reached over and rubbed my shoulder. I know it's tough, Katya, he said. You've done a great job with Truman. He's had a safe, loving home away from home with us. We taught him good manners. We also learned what makes him special so we can help him find a good match with a family. Mom's eyes got a little wet. She smiled and said, no matter what happens, Truman will always have a place in your heart. He'll have one in Dad's heart and one in my heart too. I knew all of this. Of course I wanted to help animals, but I had fallen in love with Truman. How could I say goodbye?